Never could have done any of this, though, without the help of my parents who are here today. I'd like you to join me in thanking my mother and dad.
Welcome back to Hardball. When he declared his candidacy for president, Senator Rand Paul looked well-positioned to build upon the legacy of his father, U.S. Congressman Ron Paul, who attracted strong libertarian support in the Republican primaries in 2008 and 2012. Yet with the 2016 campaigns well underway now, Paul has struggled in a crowded field, dogged by lackluster fundraiser and slipping poll numbers. A year ago, Rand Paul led all his 2016 rivals, according to a National Quinnipiac poll last summer. Now the same poll shows him tied with Marco Rubio and Ben Carson in fourth place, well behind Trump, Walker, and Bush. Well, according to a piece in the Washington Post today titled, "As Debate Looms, Rand Paul Sees Chance to Be GOP Dove, the Dove." Paul intends to contrast himself with his rivals on foreign policy at this Thursday's debate. Paul vowed that he will ask his Republican presidential rivals face-to-face where they want to always intervene in every civil war around the world. "I want to be known as the candidate who's not eager for war, who thinks war is the last resort," Paul said. The Libertarian wing of the Republican Party has been waiting and waiting and waiting for Paul to do that. I'm joined right now by former U.S. Congressman Ron Paul, author of the new book of his, Swords into Plowshares, A Life in Wartime and a Future of Peace and Prosperity. Congressman, thank you for joining us, because I do support what you're trying to do and your son's certainly trying to do. Then Norman Podhoretz, of all people, the king of the neocons, last week at the end of it, had the gall to come out and say, we have to bomb Iran. No more deals, no more nuclear agreements, no more containment. We must go to war again. We've toppled Libya. We're trying to topple Syria. We've toppled Egypt. We've toppled Iraq. We're trying to topple Iran. When are they going to stop getting us into more trouble, the neocons and the hawks in the Republican Party? Your thoughts?
Well, I wish they'd listen to reason and just look at what's happening. I think it's going to stop, unfortunately, when we go broke and there's nothing left, and then the people will find out that it was a total failure, just as the Soviet system collapsed. It wasn't because they decided to be peaceniks. They went broke. And I think that's what's going to happen to us. And right now, in the midst of all this, we're doing all the bombing that you demonstrate. But, you know, war is the health of the state. And when you have wars going on, and constant war, and war against terrorism, the war is turned against the American people. And that's why we have the attack on civil liberties. So I think there's going to be a serious, serious problem in this country, both in our liberties and our economic policies. But the foreign policy is something that I concentrate on in the book, because I think these wars are needless, they're immoral, they're unconstitutional, and they hurt us. And we ought to stop them. And I think that's what Rand's message is going to be this Thursday. He has to try to challenge these other individuals, because he's the only one anywhere close to that position. So I expect that he will follow through.
Unfortunately, the bugle blowers in your party are like the guys in the beginning of Gone with the Wind, the movie, where they're so thrilled that civil war has begun. They're all going to die. Let's look at the exchange you had with former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani on the issue of national security at an early debate in 2008. Let's watch.
Have you ever read about the reasons they attacked us? They attack us because we've been over there. We've been bombing Iraq for 10 years.
Are you suggesting we invited the 9/11 attack, sir?
I'm suggesting that we listen to the people who attacked us and the reason they did it.
Wendell, may I make a comment on that? That's really an extraordinary statement. It's an extraordinary statement of someone who lived through the attack of September 11, that we invited the attack because we were attacking Iraq. I don't think I've ever heard that before, and I've heard some pretty absurd explanations for September 11.
You know, that was very cute by Rudy, and of course it was very jingoistic and very nationalistic, but the fact is that you were right. You're onto something. If you listen to what Osama bin Laden's people were talking about, it was the fact that we settled 10,000 troops, thanks to Dick Cheney, in their Holy Land, and sat them there all the way from the beginning of the Gulf War all the way through till 9/11. That we were the ones that defied their religion, humiliated it, and that was their reason. Whether we like it or not, there's such a thing as motive, and you have to live with it, and they don't want to think about there might be a... Sirhan killed Bobby Kennedy because of political motive. You got to at least know what you're up against. Anyway, I don't understand this defiance of truth.
And more people are recognizing this. I think Giuliani lost that little debate we had there. I remember after that, somebody said, well, I guess you'll have to quit. And it was only the beginning. That was early on in 07, I think, when that happened. And Giuliani never went anywhere. And at that time, people were really negative on the war.
I'm going to get some facts down.
They were negative on the war.
You're on the deal. You're with the deal with the president on the nuclear deal with Iran, right? You want to, that's containment as far as you're concerned, rather than war.
Right. I've always supported that and make the point that Kennedy talked to Khrushchev and Reagan talked to the Russians, and they were bad people, evil people, and had a lot of weapons, yet we still. But this deal, this agreement, you know, worked out with Iran is far from perfect and nothing like I would do it, but it's better than threatening them with bombs. They would never want to take anything off the table. And I think that is just immoral to say that if you don't go our way, we're allowed to bomb you with a nuclear weapon. And that's what some of them would do.
If the people watching right now like the way this man's thinking, and I certainly agree with him on foreign policy, the name of his book, Ron Paul, is Swords into Plowshares, exactly what he's talking about tonight. Former U.S. Congressman Ron Paul, sir, thank you for coming on this show with a philosophical difference with the jingoists and the trumpet blowers of the Republican Party. Up next, the restless herds. We're going to look into why members of both parties right now are unsettled about their current frontrunners. What is so restive that's spooking the herd out there? You're watching Hardball, both herds, Democrat and Republican. The place for politics right here, Hardball.